With 75% of equipment manufacturers saying they will likely pursue electrification technology in the coming months, the electric earthmover powertrain may be here to stay. Battery technology continues to be the #1 challenge, but not enough of a challenge to stifle a steady stream of new construction machine introductions. Of course, the big advantage of the electric powertrain isn't just fuel savings, but savings on maintenance due to a far simpler system. Let's talk about batteries and other technologies and explore the cost, performance, and demand that are fueling today's boom in electric power alternatives. Thanks to our sponsor, CONEXPO. Hi everyone, welcome to CONEXPO 2020. I'm Diana Henry. Evan Brown from CONEXPO joins me now. Evan, you've got some really great products happening at CONEXPO. Let's talk about your new battery-powered machine.
Yeah, we're real excited about that. We've been doing battery-powered machines for a couple years now. We came out with the 9 VXB, which has been extremely popular. This year, here at the show, actually, we just unveiled our 17 VXB. So it's a 7-foot dig class machine, a little bit bigger size, about 3,500 pounds. It's got 5,500 pounds of breakout force, completely zero emissions. If you're doing anything indoors, anything that's a sanitary environment like food service or healthcare, where you're trying to keep those emissions at zero, this is your tool, and there's nothing better than it on the market. We're really excited about it.
Sustainability is key.
It is.
You've extended your product line into the larger excavators as well, right?
Yes, ma'am. When CONEXPO bought IHI a couple years ago, it really changed the way that we did business. We've been repping IHI equipment here in the US for 25 years as their distributor, and that took us up to about 8.5 tons with the mini excavator line that we carried for them. CONEXPO's been making large excavators for 75 years. They've been in business for over 125 years in Japan. So with that merger, we were able to bring in their large excavators, which is what they're experts in. So we're really excited about that. The IHI stuff that our customers are accustomed to, we're still bringing it in and under the CONEXPO name, but it's great machines. And now we've got these terrific large machines. We go up to 50,000 pounds, which is a huge growth from what we were doing before. It's a little bit new thing, we're learning as we go, but we're really excited about it, and our customers seem to be too.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the customer demands for these types of products. You're helping them solve some solutions, right?
Absolutely.
Solve some problems with some solutions.
Solve some solutions, yeah. No, there's only so much you can do with a small machine. There are jobs that are big jobs, and they require big machines. And before, we just hadn't had a product that really serviced that market. We've got 3 large excavators that we bring in now. There's a couple of machines around the 35,000 pound class, about 18 to 19 feet dig depth, so you can really get in with those. And then that 50,000 pound 823, it's a minimal radius machine, so you got a low tail swing, able to get into some tight spaces and still move around and work. And then it's got about a 22, 23 foot dig depth on it, so it's a great machine to really get in there and do some earth moving.
Well, you've had some proven success with some of these machines. You've won some accolades. Tell us about that.
Yeah, everyone likes to win a trophy every now and then. I think ours were earned. So we have a 25 V4 was just named Equipment Watch's highest retained value for 2020 in that 25 weight class. So we're really excited about that. As I said before, IHI has been making great machines. CONEXPO's continued that legacy. Our customers know us and respect the machines that they have, and it's good to see that they're retaining their value. And that's another thing that we can tell our customers is, you get ready to move on to the next one, you still got a good return on your investment there when you go to sell. So we're excited about that. And then in the battery that we've been doing now, we had a top 50 new product from Equipment Today last year with the 9 VXB, and anytime you can get up there into the top and you're being innovative and out in front of things, that's always exciting too.
Joining me now is Chris Villavarayan from Meritor. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, Dan.
Really great things happening at CONEXPO, right?
Yep.
Let's talk a little about, you do drivetrain, you do braking components. What else is happening at Meritor?
So lots, electrification, off-highway space, and it's just driving from the next evolution of what we're going to do in the 2 things that are the core of the business, the drivetrain and braking, and then just moving it into other applications, whether it's off-highway, specialty, military and defense. So that's what we're working on.
Let's dive into that a little bit more.
Sure.
Tell me more about these new technologies and new spaces for you.
Right, so we kicked off our entry into off-highway about 4 years ago. So, 4 or 5 years ago, we said we were going to come back into off-highway. We had the off-highway business with our AxleTech portfolio about 17 years ago, but we got out of it. And so 4 years ago, we set a plan to get back in. And then over time, in the last 4 years, we grew it organically. Then we acquired a company called Fabco, and then we acquired AxleTech back. And so now we're a global platform. We have almost $500 million of business around the world.
Wonderful. Talk to us about CONEXPO. What are you guys doing here? What do you have on display? Anything new?
Yes, we do. So we brought out our electric axle. So what we've done is on the on-highway space, on the commercial vehicle space, the on-road trucking space, we're heavy into electrification. So we've come up with axles for the medium-duty truck space as well as the heavy on-highway trucks. And so we took that and we moved it kind of over to the off-highway space. So what can we do with terminal tractors? What can we do with dock spotters and things like that? So that's what we've moved on to.
How important was it for your company to get into the electrification space and the world of that?
Very important. I think, we looked at it and we said, hey, this is something that over time is going to be something that will probably disrupt our space. So we thought, we should come into it. We also looked at it as something that we could also add value in and grow from. And it's exactly how it worked out. We got in early. We got in about 3.5 years ago, and then it just kept building. I think the fact that we came out with an e-axle that we're using again on the commercial vehicle space, that we're testing with all the major OEs, whether it's PACCAR or Daimler, and so we used that. Now we're moving off onto the off-highway space, and we've been able to again win deals and be on trucks with Kalmar and folks like that. So on the off-highway side,
the demand is there, certainly.
Sure, it
right?
is.
So
and
if
you
you're
can
not
see
there,
the attention. You can see the attention from the customers that even at the show here, as we have our booth, all the attention is towards the electrification space. So it's great. It's so fun.
It's the road we're on, right?
Yeah.
Joining me now, John Williams from Green Machine. Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
CONEXPO, a great place to feature some really cool things happening in the industry. What are the goals of Green Machine when it comes to clean technology and the various partnerships you're making?
So Green Machine is really, it's more than green technology or clean technology. It's about taking power sources to the next level. So we invented the diesel engine 125 years ago. Internal combustion engine became commercialized in the 20s and the 30s, 19th century. We really haven't changed it in the last 100 years. We've, added turbocharging and better machining and better optimization, but we haven't really made any leap in how we create a power source that's portable. That's what Green Machine is. Green Machine's a portable power source that replaces traditional fossil fuel-based systems.
So right now you're in the more smaller equipment sizes. Plans to scale that up?
So at this show, announcement to the camera, Case in their booth has a 580 tractor backhoe. Now that's an 18,000 pound machine. It'll be the largest commercially available electric machine in the world, and the two customers have already purchased that. So Avangrid and National Grid, large public utilities, will have that machine in their fleet this year.
Wow, that's exciting news.
It is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the challenges that battery-powered equipment faces.
So the challenges are like any new technology, right? The challenges are what you don't know. Fortunately for Green Machine, we've had our pack systems in the market for about 8 years. We've got over 20,000 hours of runtime on these systems. So we've gone through a lot of that validation and what I would call field breaking, because you can only replicate so many things in a lab until you put it in someone's hands and they drop it off a truck or tip it over into a construction site or whatever we do in construction. You really can't validate it.
What are customers coming to you with their challenges? What are they asking for?
So they're asking for better equipment, right? So the challenge is, how do you take, the challenge with the diesel engine is you can't make it any better, right? We've kind
It's a powerhouse.
Yeah, and we've gotten every ounce of optimization out of it. So when you switch from diesel and fossil fuel to electric, you can do anything, right? Now you can put automation on the machine. All of this GPS control, you can add that to the machine. So everything that we're advancing from a computer standpoint functions way better with an electric power source than it does with a diesel engine.
Batteries dying on the job site might come up in your conversation
All
with
the time.
customers. How are you overcoming that?
So you overcome it by having a better pack system, right? And making sure that you optimize the energy in that pack for the output on the machine. Equipment today wastes about 60% of the energy we put in the tank, never gets used in the function. It's just wasted.
Wow.
Because you have mechanical systems and engines and connections and pumps and hoses and liquids.
Dials and
Yeah, so when you go from an electric pack to an electric motor, there's almost no energy loss between those two units. So you can make the equipment way more efficient. You never lose energy on idle. So when you let go of the lever, it's off. When you touch the lever, it's on. So we're figuring out that power runtime issue, and I think our customers are pretty happy with it.
And ROI, right? The bottom line matters. Yes. And so these are being pretty efficient from a time spent when your guys are out on the site.
So, great question, right? ROI. A typical diesel machine in a 18,000 pound class costs you about $20 an hour to operate. Ours is about 50 cents.
Pretty significant difference.
Pretty significant.
Let's talk about some partnerships, specifically with Whisper Drive.
So Whisper Drive is a partnership with a company called Moog. Moog is a aerospace and aircraft actuator and engine company. So they build military aerospace aircraft parts. We've taken their aircraft technology and partnered it with our pack system to create a total drive system. So now instead of just having a pack, an engine, and a hydraulic pump, you have a pack and fully electric automation right through to the wheels and the drive system.
Wow. No shortage here of technology and innovation happening at Green Machine.
No, so if you go to Bobcat's booth, they have a track loader, about a 8,000 pound unit, that is fully electric. There's no hydraulics, no fuel, no fluids of any type. There's a pack, electric actuators, and a control system.
Stephen Avery from Briggs & Stratton joins me now. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Diana.
Let's talk about the Vanguard battery. Some great stuff coming into the construction industry.
Yeah, that's correct. So we observed a need in the marketplace for a lithium-ion battery that could power things from 1 kilowatt hours up to 20 or 40 kilowatt hours. So there's a lot of electrification taking place, and it's really exciting for us to be able to meet the needs of our customers and OEMs that we haven't even worked with before, because we're able to power things that engines never even powered.
And we're not talking just really small machines, right?
No, absolutely not. All sorts of machines, from small to big, and in between.
What makes it a really integrated solution, because that's important?
So lithium-ion batteries need something called a battery management system, or a BMS, and ours is actually integrated right in our packs. It's actually designed by us, and we own the code around that. So that's where all your safeties and the communication with the application takes place, and it's inside every battery for us. The battery is an IP66 plus pressure washer rated enclosure, which means that we can actually pressure wash the battery when we're done, because construction is, you're going to get messy. It's going to get dirty. You got to pressure wash it at the end, and we know our customers expect that. There wasn't anything else on the marketplace that did it, but we knew we had to do that, so that's what we did. So everywhere from a weatherproof battery to having this integration inside every battery that allows you to even parallel up to 4 batteries of the same size, and it's really neat to work with.
Super important also to talk about battery life, right?
Correct.
And knowing where your battery stands, because customers certainly don't want their batteries dying out on the job site.
Absolutely, and this is a commercial grade battery. So we communicate our state of charge, state of health over our CAN bus networks to the application, as well as the battery life over the life of the battery is very good as well. So we rate it for 2,000 cycles. For our first battery is a 5 kilowatt hour battery. And so if you use that for 5,000 watts continuous, you can do that 2,000 times. At the end of the day, the battery still works fine, but that 5 kilowatt hour pack is now a 4 kilowatt hour pack, because it's 80% the capacity. And that's how we rate lithium ion batteries and their life cycles.
What are customers asking for from you then, right? There's got to be a demand.
All sorts of things. It's really fun seeing all sorts of applications and opportunities we have. Our first application is the Argo rover, and we power Argo's manned recreational vehicles with our Vanguard engines, and now we also power it's a giant robot. There's 8 wheels on it. It's the size of a small car. The main industry for them is military right now, but there's other commercial applications that are being used right now that's starting to utilize it. And so we're a one-stop shop for them. So they come to us for their vehicles, whether it's for an engine or a battery, and we pride ourselves in our customer satisfaction and our support. So I'm actually an application engineer for our battery products, and me and my other fellow co-workers that are also application engineers, we work in the Power Application Center, and we work to make sure that whether it be a battery or an engine, it fits the application well, and that the customer is going to be happy when they buy the product.
How's adoption going within the construction industry for this technology?
It's going well, and this week there's a lot of buzz. People are stopping by. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to in the booth. It's been great, and there's a lot of excitement behind it. Everybody knows it's the future, but engines aren't going anywhere. But it's really neat that we're able to serve more things. We're being able to operate machines inside with it, and the possibilities are kind of endless.
Clean energy is important, right?
Absolutely.
Bart DeHaven from Cotto joins me. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the battery-powered mini excavator.
Yes, ma'am. We have two battery-powered excavators. The 9 VXB that we came out with about 2.5 years ago. It made the top 50 products for
Equipment today.
Equipment today, yes, I guess. So, yeah, good little machine. It's 28 inches wide, so it'll go through a 30-inch door, 5-foot dig depth, and it's got an 8-hour run time, so on a single charge. So a great machine for us right now.
And you just debuted another one this spring, right?
Yes, ma'am. 17 VXB. It's a 4,000-pound machine. It'll dig about 7 foot deep. Same run time of 8 hours on a single charge. And the good thing about both those machines is they don't. The batteries themselves have no memory, so you don't lose. You can charge it if you only run it half the time. You can charge it, and it doesn't gain any memory loss or whatever with the run times.
You probably get a lot of questions about battery-powered machines on the job site and whether they are going to last the full 8 hours that you're telling them it's going to last.
Right. They will. They will. You know, it's right now it's I guess a big learning curve for not only us, because the contractors are requiring it. The job sites are requiring it. Where it comes from, no emissions, but also noise pollution too. We're hearing is a big thing when you're working around a hospital or somewhere like that, where the machine will be running, creating all that noise. So that's another big thing that we're looking at.
And the ROI is there, right? You're proving that with your customers.
They are. The ROI is there. As I guess time goes on and there's more development with the battery technology, it's going to lower the cost on the machines. Right now they're expensive for some guy to just go out and buy for just one single job, but that's why the rental companies are really doing really well with them, because the rental investment is there too.
What type of projects would this type of technology be suited best for?
Interior demolition is where we're seeing probably 85% of them, but we have a lot of rental companies that are renting them to guys that want to work outside, but they don't want the noise, they don't want to deal with the fuel. But the interior demos, where it would be a hospital or pharmaceuticals, any kind of food preparation, to where they don't want any contamination with whatever type product or the exhaust fumes. They don't want that going on
a really popular booth here at CONEXPO. I'm sure a lot of questions coming out.
A lot of questions, yes ma'am. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Been very good.
Joining me now, Hiroshi Hasagawa from Delta Q. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about what Delta Q offers to the construction industry.
Sure. Delta Q has realized for a long time that this was a segment that we've always wanted to get into. And with the emerging technologies that we have, we feel that we're poised right now to enter that market. We've got a lot of really exciting charging opportunities, and with the implementation of better charging systems like lithium batteries and smaller, more efficient chargers, we're poised to enter it, and we realize that this is something that Delta Q really wants to get into.
Yeah, it's the future. It's definitely not the past. Yeah.
Correct.
Battery and charging trends, hot topic, innovation here at CONEXPO and elsewhere. Where does Delta Q play into that?
Well, we've learned from the other markets that we've been into that the real strength of Delta Q was to make the charger the smart solution, so that the customer who uses it doesn't have to think about it. Plugs into the system, charges efficiently, charges in the shortest amount of time, uses the least amount of energy, and it's a kind of a fire and forget system. Like the customer doesn't really have to be a charger expert in order to succeed. So the trends that we see are that the customer expectation is rising. They've got even their smartphones and everything else they use are all lithium and powered, and they can get extended runtime. So that's the expectation, even the equipment that they use. They want to have a simple solution that they can plug in quickly, walk away from it and come back, in a period of time, and know that that piece of equipment can be used. So
you're probably getting asked a lot of questions because it's newer technology.
Sure.
It's just kind of getting into the marketplace by way of construction equipment.
Right.
You don't want a battery to die all of a sudden on a job site.
Right.
Tell me how Delta Q approaches that.
Well, we work with a lot of OEMs to make sure that we right-size the size of the battery so that they're getting as much battery as they need without having too much. I mean, obviously, the more batteries you put in, there's more weight. That decreases it makes it more difficult to run that equipment. So where we're really focused on is to make sure that the customer, the dealer, we really understand the requirements of what they expect, and if it's an 8-hour runtime, that we right-size the battery, get them the battery solution they need, and the charger that goes with it, to make sure that they have a total satisfaction in the piece of equipment they use. And the construction is challenging. I mean, they aren't able to plug in at every corner. So,
yeah, no, absolutely not.
So, we try to make sure that what they need is that they have high efficient batteries that will, make them be able to run for an 8-hour day. So.
And move the kind of, material that they're moving around.
Correct. And the things I've seen at the show is just, it's mind blowing that the fact that back-breaking work is now done by one person a lot more safely and in a shorter period of time. So the owners of the equipment are seeing that payback because they're not asking their people to do, fairly tough jobs, right? In pretty harsh environments, right? So we want to, grow with that and make sure that we provide those solutions to those customers. So
there has to be some regulatory requirements around this topic. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, everybody now, it's, we all want to be green. We all want to be, and the government has addressed that. People like the Department of Energy and the California Energy Commission have made efficiency standards higher. We can't get away with just using any old battery anymore and expect it to do the job. They want to use the least amount of power to do the job that they need. And it all translated into savings for the people using it. It's good for the planet and it's good for business because you're using a lot less energy to do these kind of jobs. We've learned that in the other industries that we've been in, and now we were learning that people have said to us, is it all about being green? Of course it's about being green, leaving the planet better than we found it, but it's also about saving the owner money.
Yeah, doing the job, right?
Exactly. So we realize it's a total cost of ownership, and that's how we approach it for e-construction. So.
Are there best practices that you could share with us?
Sure. I mean, the best thing to do is really, when you're working with a partner to develop some kind of solution, to make sure that you outline exactly what your requirements are going to be. If the expectation is it has to run for an 8-hour day, or it has to charge in a 4-hour period, or I'm not going to get an opportunity to plug it in, that they completely lay out everything that they need from whoever partners they work with, and to make sure that they get a solution so that when the end result happens, they're going to be completely happy with it. And Delta Q really prides itself on working with various battery partners. So we have a whole suite of software and hardware solutions that will work with just about most of the major vendors, whether it's LG or Samsung. I mean, we've really spent a lot of time developing those relationships so that we can offer that total solution to the customer.
Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing this technology with us.
Appreciate it.